Well, hey y'all, happy Tuesday. Welcome back. So it's Tuesday, and Tuesday's gonna be a new thing for us because I have to be honest with you, for a couple years now, I have been making my life really hard, making Mondays with you guys, and I don't want to do that anymore. Mondays, just like for anybody, there's a lot going on for Mondays, and now that the girls are back in school, I just want to be able to enjoy things more. So for my life and for you, and I hope you don't mind, we're gonna shift our normal conversations in the garden to Tuesdays, and that's just gonna make things a little bit easier for me, and hopefully you are okay with it. In today's video, I don't have a huge topic for you. I've got a lot of things that I want to get done. It's a beautiful day. I'm not one to say that because it's overcast, but it's barely 80 degrees right now, and this week is going to be a great week for getting some planting in. The rest of the month is going to kind of keep the temperatures under like 102 or lower. This week is some of the highs are just going to be in the hundreds, so I'm going to take advantage of getting a couple of starts that I need to put in some bags, as well as some seeds planted, and just kind of have a conversation with you as I go along. The last week for me has been kind of crazy. The girls went back to school last week, and you know, we're still raising adult sons around here, so that presents things for us that we hadn't really been expecting. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and head out to the garden. I'm going to start over here at the table. I'm getting some seeds put together, and we'll just see how it goes. So thanks for being here. I've always been fascinated with poppies and poppy seeds since I first became aware of them. I always thought that this would be cool to make a stamp with, and so I'm not going to bother it from there. I'm actually going to bother it from the bottom, and it's a little bit damp because of the humidity out here, so I'm going to cut it open and make it a little bit bigger, and then I should just be able to pour seeds out. There's quite a few seeds in there too. And I'm glad I'm doing this, because if it keeps getting filled up with moisture, it's probably not going to be happy. That's amazing how many seeds are coming out of there. That's a pretty good amount of seeds. So if you like poppies, it's obviously worth keeping their little heads when they dry out, because like I said, if you've got some crafty people like my girls, I think the heads will be fun to make as stamps. And I definitely am excited to have all these seeds. This is from a rattlesnake poppy start that I got from Leslie last year at our plant swap. So I'm just going to open this up completely to see if I'm missing any of the little seeds in there. And then maybe I'll put some of these in our swap, and we figure out when we're going to do that. So just dump the rest of these in here. And then I'm just gonna do it like this for now and put some washi tape on it in a little bit, because once you lick that tab, it's such a pain to deal with after that. But that's a good little packet of rattlesnake poppy seed. So let's head out here and check out. Well, let me get my stuff. I need to get gloves, my hori, and my fertilizers. So I'll show you in a little bit. I do have some seedlings that came up, and then I got these little waste baskets from the Dollar Tree. So they're like $1 a piece, and so I got 20, and I wouldn't be surprised if I got 20 more, because obviously the birds can't mess with the seedlings. I can use them over and over. It's easy to water through them, you know, to get the seedlings to come up. So it's really a win-win for me. Now I've got, like, I definitely want to get, this is a sweetheart cherry and a, can't remember what kind of pepper it is. I think it's a sweet pepper too, but I want to get these planted today. And So the girls had a real nice back to school. They were very excited, and they'd been home for 16 months, so it was a really big deal to them. And I don't know if you follow me on social media, but both of them got haircuts. And our oldest daughter, you know, she had really long hair. It wasn't always that easy to see when she just wore it down, but it actually it stretched out to be, you know, to the top of her bottom, you know, really long down her back. So she wanted to get a really short cut, and she's just so in love with it, and she feels so confident, and she's like, Mom, I look amazing and I feel amazing. And so she's just so jazzed up about life, and we love that. And the little one, she's always very introspective and very in tuned to everything that's going on all around her. And so she's excited, and she's happy to be with her friends. She's just always taking it all in. So I'm planting these. Obviously, I tend to mark my bags with red tags, and it's been a season or so since this one had a tomato, but I try to avoid putting my tomatoes right back in the same place. Same with peppers. So the girls got going off well in the week, and our son that was supposed to be going to the Air Force has kind of had some major delays with that for a couple of reasons that get to be his own private business. So he's been working his same job. He kind of does a little, you know, like a dishwashing job, and he's working to find another job. So yeah, raising adult kids, bigger challenges than anything I would have thought. Toddlers, I mean, it's comparable to toddlers, and I don't mean to say that in a condescending, negative sort of way, but they're definitely willful, very willful. So we had some strong, willful presentations, we'll say, last Tuesday. So that kind of had to shift us into, okay, you want to be an adult, here's how it's going to be for an adult. And then our oldest son, he's a miser. He's very thrifty with his money, and he really makes wise choices. He researches things, and he's got a couple years on the younger one. So he had just bought himself a new pickup, new to him, and was very excited about it, because he does like yard work, landscaping, and he really does anything. If you needed him to paint, he'd come paint. You know, he's just a really hard worker. So he bought a truck, and his brother had been pretty rough on the last vehicle that he had, and I don't even have anything to plant in that, so it's ready. So let's go find something to plant in it. So, and I'll show you real quick that I got a week or so ago when we met up, I got this Armenian that's just doing crazy. I don't know if you can see all that. I'll give you a little bit of a tour here in a minute. So let's go find us a plant. Maybe we'll get some seeds. So the oldest one bought himself a pretty sweet little ride, little Ford Ranger pickup, and it had been owned by an older couple that really took care of it, and so it looked really good, you know. And so needless to say, after the couple times that his younger brother had, well, I mean, the final thing with the last vehicle is that, you know, it blew the transmission while the younger brother was driving. So the older brother was pretty convinced that he wasn't really going to let the younger brother drive, and that he should get his own vehicle. So he decided to let him drive for 5 days until he got his own vehicle. And on the second day, he crashed his truck. So that's been, you know, challenging, because again, they're young adults. So the older one has to manage his perspective, and you know, and it's difficult because we feel so bad for him, and the younger one is where he's at. So in the midst of the girls having an amazing back to school week, the boys have had a pretty rough week. But it's life, it's part of growing up. This pumpkin is so far past needing to be planted, and I've really been wanting to find a way to get it in here. So I think that's what I'm gonna do, and see if we can give it another shot at life. So I'm gonna lay it there and press on, you know? So, and I think that's something to kind of reflect on here in this conversation too, because I realize, just like many of you, that our country is going back into a really dark, tough, challenging place with this virus and this pandemic. And so that feels not good, you know, because I don't know really which one that is, because I had 2 cups together. It's really challenging because when you feel like you got through something, it's like being told it didn't work and you got to do it again. And that's why we garden, you know. We got to find something else to focus on, because focusing on this is just too much, and we got to stop bothering each other so much about it. And you know, I'm reading a good book right now, and I'm definitely gonna share it with you at some point. I want to really get into doing more videos where I review things and you know, just share a little bit more about where I'm learning stuff from, you know. So I got this bed reset, and without putting any shade cover, because I've been working on the issue with the bird netting, but the birds haven't really, except for maybe, no, this is where I dumped water. So the birds really haven't been messing with it since I got it reset. Maybe because the rain brought in so many other things for the birds to care about. But what I was trying to say a while ago is, I think more than anything right now, we really got to stop trying to tell other people what they need to do. Because, oh, I was talking about the book Chatter. So this is a great book. My husband heard about it on a podcast. He learns a lot about different books and stuff from the podcast. But the book talks about the chatter that goes on in our heads, you know, like our inner voice, that thing that's always griping in the background. And well, I've kind of skipped ahead of him. My husband and I are reading it out loud to each other. But so it talks about how not only do we sometimes have these negative dialogues with ourselves, we go out and we tend to overshare those negative dialogues with other people. And we've got to know that they've got their own dialogues going on too, you know. So I think this is really a good time to reflect on how we go forward in treating others and treating the way that we deal with all the things that we're having to deal with in our lives right now. And there's a better way. Now, some of these tomatoes, you see me taking them to crazy places, but they're all gonna get brought back over here under the tree. Like, I might as well just drag this bag over. Because I know that as we go through this, you know, we've been growing this virus, and alongside of it, we've been growing this weird form of negativity. And I don't even like using the H word, H-A-T-E, Probably heard me say that before, but golly, look at the airlines. I mean, they're just having to do anything to protect themselves from people being so up in arms. So that's what I'm talking about, is we've got to find a serious way to get out from underneath this up in arms thing. And we got to stop letting what's going on in the world be the #1 thing that affects everything that we do in our lives. And if it's just planting, maybe that's why we do this. Maybe it's, I mean, maybe that's what we do it for, is to give us something else. I'm just sticking this here so I can come back and tag it. But we've got to find another way. We got to find a better way, because this right here, it's not sustainable. You can't continue to sustain this negativity and it lead to anything positive or worth having in the world, you know? And that's a pretty big deal in my opinion. So now I'm gonna go over here and I am just really gonna go crazy stuffing melon seeds into this bale. So I'm gonna rant, like whatever is on top of here when I open it, that's what I'm planting. So first I'm gonna stick in, I don't even have to poke. So I'm gonna stick in some of these canary yellow melons. Let me just do, oh, a bunch fell out, but I'm gonna take those two. I'm gonna stick one in right there, and I'm gonna stick one in over here, and this one fell out, so I'm gonna stick it in right there. Now next we've got a golden moon, so let's put some of this over here. So my decision is I'm just gonna pour myself into my garden even harder and stronger than I felt like I was doing before. I finally, like, I love the girls, but they have so much to talk about. Whew. And they want to talk to me about it, and I don't mind, but it makes it challenging to think. So now I get about 3 or 4 hours a day to like actively think on my own, and that's revolutionary right there for me. So I'm pouring myself heavy into gardening. I'm reading a lot more, and I'm working on some more positive practices for myself just in life. That's a honeydew. I said I was gonna plant whatever I came to, but so let's plant a honeydew. And we'll put it in this one. I really want to write. I've had a couple of books on my heart for more than a minute, so hopefully I can create a space for that. More than anything, I want to keep focusing on you guys, and I really want to find more awesome things to give you something to think about besides all this stuff. I want to get you excited and motivated and encouraged to just have an amazing life, because you deserve that. We all deserve that. And all this muck that's out here, just, it's my neighborhood fire department. I haven't even told you about that night that it was raining out here, and not the neighbor directly behind us, but the neighbor, I don't know, to the left of them from our backyard. Sheet metal panel flew up off of their shed, and just as it did, like over there, if you can see, the sheet metal flew up, and as it did, lightning struck it just as it hit the power line. So that whole power line caught on fire. It was a crazy night. So there's always something going on, you know, and we've got to find our peace in the midst of the storm. And So I want you to tell me down below, what are you doing? What are you gonna start doing to get into more of a peaceful place so that the coming months in this world don't just make us crazy? I think I'm gonna take a break for a minute, and I hope you've enjoyed our time together. So just a quick look at everything. So little bunny Foo-Foos, she ate the last of this zinnia. These are doing okay. These peppers are all happy. This is again one that I got last year at a swap. This is, I think, that, or maybe it was Angelina. This was like a red pepper, I believe, and I topped it when I first got it, and it just loves life. And this is our wicking bucket, still happy as happy can get. And so you saw me do a little planting. You can see down here, maybe you can, maybe you can't, there's some seedlings coming in. I'm loving these little waste baskets. And I've also want to update you, I've got a separate pile going here exclusively for my bunny poop, because Maisie was overloading my pile with bunny poop. So I've got all these awesome bags because, like I told you, my oldest son does a lot of landscaping, so it's the time where he can start bringing me bags. So I need to top off the browns right here to get this really going, and these two buckets here are doing really great. I just need to add something to them. Let's see, I lost my oregano, but I'm not cutting it down because it always comes back. I think these were just getting too much water. Like this sage was happy all up here, then too much water, but it's coming back down here. I can't wait to replant this. This is by far the best rosemary I've ever grown, and it loves this spot. So that's what's going on. I got this eggplant when I met up with the ladies the other day, and it's really happy. We started feeding little bunny Foo-Foo lemongrass, so we're constantly pulling and picking at this, so it's really went crazy. So I need to get to where I make some little rounds with it and make some tea. This is our pineapple that we've been growing forever, and it loves this spot so much that the other day we found this spike going into this guy, and this guy right here is kind of a cute thing. You never saw it because it was on the front porch, and my husband and I have had this since we had been together dating 6 months, and when he brought it to me it was just about this big, and now it's almost 2.5 3 feet tall. My flowers are all coming back from all the rain and such. And over here, just a couple things I'll touch on that you might not have seen. This watermelon was a seed that got in here in the many times that I tried to do something with it. The loofah, I really might actually get loofah this year because it's really gone wild this way, coming up this way. And that's why I removed this piece of the shade cloth, because every time it got up here, it would just keep trying to go into the shade cloth. So, and this time of the year in September is supposed to be when loofah really goes crazy. So I'm just kind of letting it do its thing. I moved the okra and the hibiscus inside the shade this week because they were just having a time with all that extreme heat that we had last week. So I gave them a little bit of a break. I got these 2 bean plants from Leslie. This one it's not climbing like it should, but it's gotten a lot taller, so maybe I'll help it a little bit there. And then this is a melon that I picked up at Summer Winds. So I'm pleased to see that all the starts, I tried to show you this a while ago, but this isn't our meaning, that when I got it, I brought the vine to here, and now it's all the way up to here. So I'm really pleased with all the little things that I got that weekend and got put in. And now, you know, I'm just waiting for the little seedlings and starts that I've got going. And this right here looks, I bet you it's coming off this plant. I bet you it is. So I planted that pumpkin. I had put this pumpkin here. It looks a little sad because, again, I pulled the shade cloth off. But I'm about to fill this up with corn and try to give it another shot. And then in a couple days, I'll plant some beans in here. So one more chance on the strawbell garden. And I've decided that I'm going to bring these previous strawberry bags down to the other end of the yard and make them into lettuce bags because they're just sitting here being bird digabouts. So there is just a little tour of what's going on in my garden. Well, I hope that was worth watching, and more than anything, I hope that you're feeling a little bit encouraged, and I hope that you're gonna have a great week.